Hello friends, my name is Lisa. Welcome to this flexibility series, and today's practice is going to be about the hips. I hope that you watched the introduction video. If you haven't yet, please make sure you do. It talks about a couple of ideas and mindsets that I would like us to have and to approach this practice with. If you watched that and you're all ready, then let's get started. We're going to start today in a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Bring your palms on top of the knees. You can bring the palms facing up and just close your eyes for a moment. Let's take a few breaths here to arrive onto the mat. Feel that place where your body touches the mat. Feel the weight of your body on the mat. Open your shoulders, open the chest, sit nice and tall. Relax your shoulders, relax your facial muscles. And start bringing attention inwards to your breath. Just a couple of breaths here to make sure we're fully present with ourselves and with our bodies. Find that place in your body where you can feel the inhalations and exhalations the most prominently. And with the next inhale, start gently lengthening your breath. So making the inhalations a little bit deeper and exhalations a little bit longer. Another inhale, deeper, and exhale a little bit longer. Keep breathing deep and nice. We will try to maintain this breath throughout the practice, equal inhalations and exhalations, just nice, long and steady breath. Gently open your eyes. And we are going to start our practice with in a cross-legged position, but slightly different. So bring your shins a little bit away from your hips and bring your right shin on top of your left. So here your right foot comes close to your left knee and your right knee comes close to your left foot. When you look down, you should see some kind of a triangle between your legs. Anything that's close to that is good. Even if your knee is a bit away from your foot, that's completely fine. So maybe this is already enough for you, and you should, and you already start feeling the stretching and opening sensations in your hips. So then stay here, or if you can and want, go a little bit deeper. Then with the next exhale, start folding forward. Bring your hands, the top of the fingers on the floor, and just walk them as far as it feels good. Lead with your chest. Try to bring your belly into your legs, in between your legs, and eventually relax your head down. We're trying to not curve the back too much here, just feeling the sensation of stretching in the hips, primarily in the right hip, the one that is on top. Nice steady breath here. This may feel a little bit uncomfortable. This is pretty uncomfortable for me, but it's really good for opening the hips. And because it's uncomfortable, I just want us to start from it, to just get it out of the way and move into things that are maybe a little bit more pleasant. Or maybe this feels completely just amazing and great for you, in which case I'm really happy. Just another inhale here. With the next exhale, go as deep as you can. And with the next inhale, walk your hands towards your legs. And we're going to slowly change legs. So this time the left leg comes on top, left foot comes somewhere close to the right knee, and left knee is above the right heel. So again, look down, make sure you find some kind of triangle between your legs, and maybe stay here, just lengthen through the spine, through the back, and relax here. Or if it feels good, you can walk your hands, place them on the floor and walk them a little bit away from your body to fold forward. Same on this side, lead with your heart. If you're folding forward, bring your belly in between your legs and then eventually relax your head. And we're trying to not round through the back too much, but just find that place where we can feel the sensations in the hips, but we can also stay here for just 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. And exhale, go as deep as you can. And with the next inhale, walk your hands back. Come to a seated pose and relax your legs. Release them. Relax them a little bit. And from here, we're going to come into a tabletop position or all fours. So hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. And if you look back, your feet sort of disappear behind your thighs. So feet about hip distance apart as well, fingers spread. We'll do a couple of cat and cows just to give some attention to our upper body as well. With an inhale, drop the belly down, open through the chest, look up. And with an exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, drop the belly down, open the chest, look up. Exhale, push through the hands, shoulders close to the ears, round through the back, feel the nice stretch in the back. Inhale, open the chest and the heart. Exhale, round through the spine. And bring yourself back to the center. Let's continue working on our hips. So here with an inhale, extend your left leg behind you, just straight, toes pointing down. Then we're going to bend the left knee and start making circles with our left hip. Outward circles, so just away from the other leg, a couple of circles here. Try to make them as big as you can. You can do it slowly to really feel that opening in the hip. If they're not too big but fairly small circles, that's completely fine. Just do your best, and we're going to change the direction. Few more times. And bring that knee down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So you can keep your toes tucked, or you can place your feet flat on the tops of the feet, flat on the mat. Extend your right leg behind you, bend that right knee, and start making circles with the right knee. Right foot is flexed. Few more circles. You may hear or feel some kind of click in here. If you do, that's completely fine. And change the direction. We're just moving this hip joint in the way that we don't really move it much throughout the day, so it's normal if it makes any kind of sounds. And then bring the right knee down on the mat and shift your weight back to child pose just for a second to release the hips, relax them. Take a deep inhale here and exhale. With the next inhale, bring yourself a little bit up. Tuck the toes under and come into a downward facing dog. Let's find a nice downward dog here and really arrive into it. So make sure your fingers are spread. You're pressing through the hands into the mat. Firmly, shoulders are away from the ears. Tailbone is looking up, and we're trying to make a straight line with the back, neck, head, and the arms. Head and neck are relaxed here. Maybe bend your knees one at a time. Your knees, generally in downward dog, can be bent, or you can slowly start straightening them. Heels are trying to reach the mat, but if they don't worry. Push through the hands to make sure we stretch through the back. Back is always a priority here. Just another breath here. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And with an inhale, bring your right leg up. Bend the right knee, and we're going to make a few circles here as well. So just start making circles with your right knee, as big as you can, and change the direction. Nice deep long breath here through the nose. And now bring that right knee up as much as you can, open through the right hip, and bring the leg down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So with the next inhale, bring your left leg up, bend the left knee, and let's first open through the hip nicely. Try to keep your shoulders square and start making circles with your right knee. Just a couple of circles. The foot can be pointed or flexed. It's up to you. And change the direction. Just a few more. Nice long breath. And bring that leg down on the mat. Bring the knees wide to the sides of the mat. Shift your weight back to child pose. Untuck the toes. Again, just a couple of breaths to release through the hips. Deep inhale and exhale. Push with your hands to try and bring the hips further back and closer into your heels. You can also make little movements with your hips here, just sort of move them from side to side slightly, bringing the weight a little bit into one hip, a little bit into the other hip. With the next inhale, bring yourself up and step your right foot to the front of the mat. We're coming into a lizard pose, so your back foot is flat on the mat. And you're sinking your hips down. So make sure your front leg is at 90 degrees or something around that, but not less, so it shouldn't be like this. The knee should be nice and open here, so we have enough space to sink the hips down. Find yourself in a nice high lizard pose. Maybe you even need to come to the tops of your fingers to really open through the chest and sink the hips down as much as you can. And if you feel comfortable here, you can go onto the forearms, lower down. Try to not round the back too much. It will probably round a little bit naturally, but try to keep it as straight as you can. It's better to stay higher up. If you feel that curve in the back, or if you feel that it's completely straight, then you can stand to the forearms. Try to keep your knee close to your body and really sink the hips down. Feel that opening and stretching in the right hip and in the left quadriceps and hip opener, in the whole top part of the left leg. And maybe stay here, or maybe bring yourself a little bit up. Change the position of your left hand so fingers are pointing towards the foot, and then open your right knee to the side. If you're staying in high lizard, then the same, you're just not changing the position of the left hand, and you're opening the right knee to the right side. Bring your right foot onto the side as well, and stay here for a couple of breaths. Feel the stretch and more opening in the hip. And again, maybe stay here, or maybe if you want to go a little bit further, bend that left leg and reach towards the left foot. And maybe that's where you stay today, or maybe if you can, grab your left foot and bring it into your body. This should really increase the intensity of stretch in your left quadriceps and hip opener. Should feel fairly intense here. One more breath here. And exhale, one more inhale. With an exhale, slowly release the back foot. Bring yourself up, bring the right knee close into your body if you were pushing it away. And from here, bring your right leg back, come into tabletop and shift your weight back to child pose. Just for a moment, take a deep inhale and exhale. And let's do the same on the other side. So with an inhale, bring yourself up. Bring your left leg to the front outside your left hand. Make sure your back leg is flat and straight on the mat. Come to a nice high lizard pose. Again, maybe come into your tops of the fingers and open through the chest. Sink the hips down. Make sure the angle of your front leg between your shin and your hip is 90 degrees or more. So you have enough space to sink the hips down. If you feel comfortable here, you can go further down to a lower lizard onto the forearms. Again, make sure you're not rounding through the back too much here. Maybe stay here if you feel that nice stretch in the hips. Or maybe either turn your right forearm for the fingers to face in the foot, or if you're in a high lizard, just stay there and open your left knee to the side with the help of your left hand. Open through the chest, stay here. Just another breath here. And for those of you who want to go a little bit deeper, you can bend the right knee. You can keep that left knee open to the side and reach towards your right foot. Again, maybe you just reach towards it today, or maybe sometimes it helps to look at it, to see where it is, to grab it. If you can grab it, do that. And bring it into your body. Still open through the chest. You can have a little bit of dynamic movements here, so just bringing it in and out. Open through the chest. Inhale here. Exhale. One more breath. Deep inhale. Feel that stretch in the right quadriceps as well. And with an exhale, slowly release the foot. Come up high on your hands. Bring the left leg back. Shift to child pose. Release through the hips. Maybe move a little bit from side to side. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale. With the next inhale, bring yourself up, tuck the toes under, and bring yourself up to downward facing dog. Here, let's bend one knee at a time, couple of times to release through the legs. With the next inhale, bring your right leg up and step it to the front between your hands. Here, bring the back foot flat on the mat at around 45 degrees. Bring your right hand inside your right leg, right foot. And with an inhale, open the left arm up. Come to a side angle. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you need to come to the tops of your fingers. Just see where you can get today. We're here for a couple of breaths. Again, feel that right hip stretching and opening. Sink the hips down. The front knee should be close to 90 degrees. And if you want to add a little more strength challenge to here, you can bend your arms around your thigh. This will only work if you're fairly open in your chest, so don't push yourself there if you don't feel comfortable. Stay here, stay in the previous variation of side angle. One more breath. This is one of those poses where we challenge our strength as well a little bit, as well as stretching through the hip. With the next inhale, with the help of your left arm and push through your legs, bring yourself up to warrior two. Look towards the front arm, sink the hips down. Inhale, bring the palm of the front arm up and reverse your warrior. Shift your weight back, stretch the right arm above your head. Inhale here. With an exhale, wiggle your hands down, step your right leg back, come to high plank. From here, shift your weight to the front and lower down all the way to the mat. Here we're going to stretch our quadriceps a little bit, both left and right. We'll start from the right one that we just engaged quite a lot. So flat, make sure your left foot is flat on the mat. Bend the right knee and try to grab that right foot and just bring it into your body. You should feel the quadriceps here. If that doesn't feel enough, you can bring yourself a little bit more up to a cobra pose and grab the back foot from here. Again, this will only work if you're fairly open. Otherwise, just stay down here on your left forearm, grabbing your right leg with your right hand. You can also bring the elbow pointing up here and the fingers move towards the front and push that foot into the floor a little bit more. So a couple of options, just find yours. Feel a little bit of opening in the quadriceps. And release that leg. We'll change sides. So again, option one, just staying here on your right forearm, grab the left foot, bring it into your body. Maybe that's enough. Maybe flip the grip, bring the elbow pointing up, push that foot into your hip, into the mat. Stay here. If this is not enough and you really can't feel that quadriceps, release the leg, bring yourself up to cobra pose, and then grab the left foot, bring it into the mat. Find your variation. If you're in a cobra, open your chest. With the next exhale, release that leg. Tuck the toes under, bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders, move your hips back and up. Walk a little bit closer to the front maybe, to come into a nice, comfortable downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale and exhale. With the next inhale, bring your left leg up and exhale, step it between your hands. Now place your right foot flat on the mat at 45 degrees. Bring your right hand inside your left hand inside your left foot and open your right arm up. Pointing up, look at your right arm. You can also look to the front or look down if that feels better. Maybe you need to come to your fingertips here. Feel the opening, the stretching in the left hip, just down here in the left leg. Front knee is at 90 degrees. If you want to add a little bit more and challenge your strength and flexibility, wrap your arms around your torso and the thigh and stay here. Otherwise, stay in the nice side angle. One more inhale here. Deep, long breath. Exhale. With the next inhale, push through the legs. Pull yourself up with your right arm and come to warrior two. Sink your hips down, front knees at 90 degrees. Just a breath here. Flip your front palm. Bring the left arm above your head. Shift your weight back. Reversed warrior, sink deeper into your hips. With an exhale, we move the hands down, step your left leg back to plank, shift your weight forward and down, chaturanga, maybe with the knees. Inhale for cobra or up dog if your thighs are off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's bring the knees down and sink the hips back. Child pose just for a moment. Deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Tuck your toes under, come to downward facing dog. With the next inhale, again bring your right leg up. With an exhale, place it to the front of the mat. The shin comes on the mat. Your right knee is outside, a little bit outside the rest of the body. We're coming into pigeon pose. For those of you who are familiar with it, just go into your nice pigeon pose, otherwise I will explain it. So make sure your left leg is straight and pointing back. Your right heel can be close to your hips if you're fairly tight in the hips. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging or you're a little bit more open, bring your right shin parallel to the front of the mat or close to that. Make sure your hips are pointing to the front so they're squared. And with an exhale, lower down. Here you can bring your head on top of your palms, on top of your hands. You can also extend your arms and just bring your torso all the way down. Or if you're a little bit tight in your hips and your hips are kind of quite far from the ground, then if you have something like a cushion next to you, you can place it underneath your right thigh. If you have a block, you can do it as well, but it's better to do it with something soft. So you just place something underneath your right hip so you can relax a little bit onto it. And also here, in whatever variation you are, whether you're all the way down or with your arms stretched, try to push through the hands so your hips go a little bit further back. So instead of bringing ourselves all the way to the front and making it sort of easier, what we want here is to shift the hips back so the right foot is really closer to our belly or to our chest even. So we can feel that sensation of opening, of stretching in the right hip. Pigeon pose, this is one of the best hip openers, hip stretchers, both at the same time. Again, just stay for a couple of breaths in whatever variation works for you. Maybe stay there in the reclined pigeon for a couple more breaths, or if you want to add a stretch into your left quadriceps, you can bring yourself up, bring your heel close to your hips and bend the left knee. And again, maybe just stay here, maybe that's enough. Or maybe grab that outside of the left foot with your left hand, bring it closer into your body, maybe bring it to your elbow crease, maybe bring the right hand around for a mermaid pose. So we're adding a little back bend here, but most importantly, we want to feel the opening and stretching in the right hip and the stretching in the left quadriceps, optional. Back bend just comes on top. Find your variation, see what feels good for you here. Remember to not push yourself too much, it shouldn't be painful. We're just looking for the sensation of stretching and opening. If we go deeper, nothing's gonna change. We're just here to find that line between comfort and a little bit of challenge. Slowly, if you had that left leg bent, release it, come to reclined pigeon for a moment. And with an inhale, bring yourself up, shift your weight to the right side and bring your left leg across to the front. So what we want to do here is we want to bring the left leg all the way across on top of the right. So we want to bring the knees on top of each other or as close to that as possible, and our heels are close to the hips. Gomukhasana legs. And maybe this is already quite intense for you. It is quite an intense pose for me, even if it doesn't look that way, but this is one of the most uncomfortable things ever. So maybe stay here, or if you feel really comfy and good here, then start folding forward. As always, just walking your hands a little bit forward, bringing your belly closer to your thighs, leading with your chest, and then eventually relaxing the neck and the head down without rounding through the back too much. Just a couple of breaths here. Deep inhale. With an exhale, try to relax through the hips. See if you can go a little bit further. One more inhale. Another exhale. See if you can go a bit lower. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, go as low as you can, and with an inhale, bring yourself up. We're going to change sides for pigeon. So leave your left leg at the front, bring your right leg behind you. Again, maybe bring your left shin parallel to the front of the mat, but make sure your hips are pointing forward and they're squared. Or maybe bring your heel closer to your thigh. Make sure your back leg is nice and straight. And with an exhale, fold forward. Maybe come onto your forearms, maybe lower your head down onto your hands. Maybe extend the arms in front of you and lower all the way down at the stretch in the armpits and in the arms. You can bring your forehead or the chin down here. Whichever variation you are, just stay there for a couple of breaths. Again, if you're a little bit tighter in the hips and you can't go all the way down, then and your hip is quite far from the mat, then bring something underneath your hip, like a blanket or a cushion, or anything that would support it here. And you can just stay up here, trying to sort of push through the hands so hips go back. We're looking for the sensation of stretching in the left hip. As long as you feel that, that's good. You don't need to go too deep, or you don't need to take a specific shape into this pose. Your shape in which you feel the sensation is the perfect one. Couple more breaths here. Opening, stretching through the left hip. This pose is especially amazing for runners to stretch the IT band, that often runners get injuries from. I had myself an injury in the IT band when I was exploring whether running is something that I really enjoy. So maybe stay here in reclined pigeon for a few more breaths, or maybe if you did that on the other side, then bring yourself up, bring your heel closer to your hip, really shorten that distance, bring your right foot up, so bend your right knee, and reach to your right heel with your right hand. And maybe just stay here, maybe bring that heel closer into your body in a dynamic way, or just bring it and stay there. Maybe bring your foot into the elbow crease, maybe reach the left arm around and grab the right fingers for mermaid. Find your variation, make sure your hips are squared, you're not falling here. Deep, long breath. And if you have that foot up, then with an exhale, slowly release the right foot down. Come to reclined pigeon one more time. And with an inhale, bring yourself up, shift your weight towards the left, bring the right leg across for Gomukhasana legs. So we are bringing the right leg all the way on top of the left. Stacking the knees on top of each other, or anything that's close to that is good. Your heels are close to your hips. Maybe stay here, maybe start folding forward, bringing the chest and the belly into your thighs, or rather belly into the thighs and chest closer to the knees. Maybe you can go all the way down here and rest your belly on your thighs. I can't do that. My hips, it depends. In some places they're really open, and in some places they're really, really tight. So this is one of the poses that in which I really feel tightness. And I can go a bit deeper now, but when I just started doing yoga, just doing this and stacking the knees on top of each other was like absolutely impossible. I just could not understand how people do that. So as you can see, that changes, and now I'm able to go a little bit deeper, but it takes time. And again, just remembering that everyone's body is different, and there is really just nowhere to get to. We just want to be with our body and spend some time with it and find those sensations of stretching and opening. We don't necessarily want to get into a specific shape in yoga practice. With the next inhale, bring yourself up. If you were staying lower down, unwrap your legs and extend them in front of you. Give them a little shake to release through the hips. Bend your right knee, bring your right foot, the sole of the right foot inside the left thigh. We will do a few forward folds here to stretch a little bit more into the entire legs. Bring your glute muscles from underneath your sit bones so you can sit nice and tall. If this is very uncomfortable for you, bring something underneath your sit bones, like a block or a cushion or a blanket, to sit a bit higher. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Land your hands wherever they are. We're not using any props here. We're not really necessarily stretching through the whole hamstring here, as in this is not the main aim of the practice, but what we do want to make sure is that we find the sensation of stretching in the top part of the leg. Make sure your back is straight. You don't need to go too deep. Just as soon as you find that sensation in the top of the leg, stay there. If you flex your foot, really bring your toes towards your body, you will feel more stretch in the hamstring and the calf muscle all the way through your leg. You can do that if you want to, but you can also relax your foot here. It's a very rare moment when I would say relax the foot, because we are only looking for the sensation in the top of the leg primarily. Deep inhale here. Exhale, maybe lower a little bit further down. With the next inhale, bring yourself up, and we're going to change legs. Bring your right leg in front of you, left sole of the left foot inside the right thigh. Take the glute muscles out from underneath your sit bones. Maybe sit on something for more height. Inhale, bring the arms up. With an exhale, lower down. Again, lead with your chest, with your heart. Find the sensation in the top part of the leg, and just stay there for a few breaths. If you want to add the stretch for your whole back of the leg, then flex your foot, bring the toes, really make them flex, bring them towards your body, and fold forward as much as you can. Try to keep the back straight here, or as straight as I can be. One more inhale here. With an exhale, lower down as much as you can. With an inhale, bring yourself up, and we're going to come into a laying down pose. So lay down on your back on the mat. And here we're going into a one-leg happy baby. So Extend your left leg in front of you, bring your right knee into your chest, grab your outside of the right foot with your right hand, extend the left arm just somewhere on the side of the body, and bring that sole of the foot, push it towards the floor, so your knee comes towards the floor as well, just outside of your body, of your torso, of your armpit or your shoulder. Really push through that foot to try and open the hip. And if you feel very good and comfortable here, you can also bend your left leg a little bit and bring the knee to the side for additional little opening in the left hip. Deep breath here, deep inhale. With an exhale, see if you can push that knee closer to the ground. You should really feel the stretch in the back of your right leg quite intensely here, but also it should be quite a nice stretch. One more breath. Exhale, push it as far as you can. And exhale, release the right leg, extend it in front of you. Can really feel much longer in my right hip right now after this pose. Bend the left knee, grab the outside of your left foot with your left hand, push that foot and therefore the knee towards the mat or towards the floor. Deep inhale, exhale, push it towards the mat a little bit more, but again find that edge where you really feel the sensation of stretching and opening, but you can still stay there for a few more breaths. So you're not looking for any pain here, just that line between comfort and a little bit of challenge. Also bend the right knee and open the right knee to the side if that feels good. So when you bend the right knee, you bring the foot just a little bit in, not too close to your hip. One more inhale here. With an exhale, see if you can push the foot even more to the floor. And exhale, relax, release the legs. Extend them to the front for a little bit, give them a little shake. And we're coming into our final little stretch, very relaxing stretch for the hips. So extend your left leg in front of you. Bend the right knee into the chest. Bring the right hand arm just outside your body. Bring your left hand on top of the right knee. And here, glue your right shoulder into the mat, or imagine like it's glued to the mat. And with an exhale, bring the right knee to the side. So usually when we do this twist, we bring the knee to the mat and then we try to bring that shoulder back. But here what we're looking for is our shoulder is on the mat and we're stretching the knee to the side, so we should start feeling the sensation of stretching in the hip. Quite gentle, not super intense sensation. The knee probably doesn't come all the way to the mat. That's completely fine. Maybe your big toe is touching the floor. Look towards your right side. Few more breaths here. Deep inhale and exhale. Push that knee a little bit more down. See if you can find more stretching in the right hip. One more breath. Exhale. See if you can stretch it a little bit more with the help of your left hand. And with the next inhale, bring it back to the middle. Extend your right leg in front of you, bring the left knee into the chest, bring the right hand on top of the left knee, your left hand is on the mat next to you, and bring that left knee over. So glue your left shoulder here to the mat, and then try to bring the right knee closer into the mat. Look towards your left side. You can extend your arm or keep it bent in the elbow. Take a deep inhale. With an exhale, see if you can bring that left knee a little bit closer to the ground to find the sensation of stretching through the hip. One more time, breathe in deeply Exhale, bring that knee a little bit closer to the ground. See if you can find more stretch. And with an inhale, bring the knee to the center. Bring both knees into your chest. Couple of circles with the knees. And change the direction. And here, really bring the knees close into the chest to stretch out the lower back. Make sure it's flat on the mat. And with an exhale, let go of the legs. Bring the feet to the corners of the mat. Make sure your lower back is flat on the mat. There is no arch. If there is, then bend the knees and walk your hips a little bit further to the front of the mat. Relax your legs, relax your arms to the sides of the body, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Relax completely through the whole body. Final relaxation or Shavasana. This is a nice and rewarding place to come back to yourself, to reconnect with your body, to just totally relax and see, observe how it feels to be in your body after a little bit of stretch. Hope you're feeling a bit more open and stretched in your hips. You'll probably feel that more when you stand up after the practice. Maybe you feel it here. Just bring your attention to your breath. Observe that natural breath for a couple of moments. And I encourage you to stay here in Shavasana for as long as it serves you. And when you are ready, that doesn't have to be now, just gently bring yourself up, come to a comfortable seated position and let your practice come to the end. For a moment, feel gratefulness to yourself for taking this time for yourself, for your body. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you in the other classes. Namaste.